Hi everyone, I hope you're all having a great summer. I just want to begin by saying thank you all so much for the support and for listening to my latest album, Climbing, which came out on July the 8th, so last week, or almost 2 weeks ago at this point. I'm so happy that all of you seem to like the music, and that, like I said in the video about that album, that was made basically as background music, as atmospheric music for my videos on Let's Talk Religion. So the whole point of them is to create this atmosphere, this vibe, and that seems to come across, which I'm very happy about. So thank you so much for listening and spreading and leaving your wonderful comments on that album. Now that album, as you know, was released under my name, so it goes under Filip Holm, which is me, right? And that's one of the guises under which I release music, let's say. But today I wanted to talk about I wouldn't call it my main project perhaps, but it has been one of the main ways that I have released music over the years, and that is through the project known as Zini. So some of you probably know this already. You've seen some of the songs on the channel, at least in the playlist there, right? They're listed under Zini, and there's another channel called Zini, and a lot of you have found that channel too. And so I wanted to talk today about what Zini is, what the future of that project is, and also ask you a few questions at the end, because I think I might need your help with something. So Zini, Z-I-N-I, was created back in 2012 by me, basically, and also to some degree the person who is now my wife. And we started that project basically as the intent, or the idea was to take all these different musical cultures, right? So there's a lot of different music from different parts of the world that don't get as highlighted. And I had already been into like Arabic and Persian, Turkish folk music, Middle Eastern music at that point, right, for a long time. And so I wanted to take a lot of those influences from different cultures, bring them together, right? So it's this, it sounds like a hippie thing a little bit, right? But it's this sort of coming together of different cultures, but also of mixing that and presenting that in a form that is also mixed with contemporary genres like pop and rock, which I also had a certain level of experience with. And so that was basically the idea, to bring together these different forms of music, to experiment with different genres, experiment with different musical flavors and so on, and to also play with different musicians from different corners of the world, or from different genres, and just see what one can cook up, basically. And so I started writing songs for that back in 2012. It's never been a band or a group necessarily, but neither is it a solo project. It's always been a collaborative effort. That's a purpose of it, to bring in different musicians. But it's never been a set group of musicians other than myself that sort of runs the whole thing. I sometimes compare it to Paul McCartney and Wings, where there is, a group called Wings, but really it's Paul McCartney who is at the center of that thing, and he's the one who runs, and he's the only member who stayed for the whole duration, except for Denny Lane, I guess. But nonetheless, that's been the thing with Zini, where it's neither a band or a group, but neither is it a solo project, because I do have the Filip Holm thing too, where I release music as I just have with the album, obviously. But so that was the idea, to have an outlet for experimenting with different genres, to present all these different musical flavors and cultures and musicians through this package of more contemporary popular music like rock and pop. And so we released our first album, self-titled, called Zini, back in 2016, which features, everything from ouds and saz to duduk, hard rock guitars and drums and didgeridoos. There's the last song, Igo, has just a long didgeridoo drone throughout the whole thing. So it was a lot of fun to make that album. People did seem to appreciate it, and of course, you always look back on things you did half a decade ago, and you think of all the things you could have done differently. But of course, you're still proud of it. It's still part of your history and of your creative journey, so to say. And then after that, we released singles. We did a single called Wahda back in 2018, which was an incredibly fun experience. It was me and two amazing musicians, Morten Hilbom, who played percussion, and Arsalan Nasiri, who played the tambur. And so it's this really heavily, it's a very kind of Persian / Anatolian Sufi music influenced thing that has a really strange time signature that we had to practice a lot to get right. And then in 2019 was actually the last song we released as Zini, which was Felahi, which is this sort of hard rock, almost metal sounding, although groovy kind of thing that we did, sort of metal hard rock mixed with saz and Arabic folk music rhythms. I think that song is really great because that kind of encapsulates Zini in a really great way. It sort of has a lot of the different elements of Zini all sort of mixed into one song. Now, because of the pandemic and also many other factors, there hasn't been a lot of activity surrounding Zini for a couple of years. Of course, I've still kept writing things and preparing, and I'm working on stuff all the time, but we haven't released anything. But that's actually just about to change. So I'm very excited to be putting out some new music very soon, actually. So you can look forward to that. There's one new single coming out on August 5th. That's very soon. That's like in 2.5 weeks. Called Fine. So I guess this is the first announcement for that song. It's a very scaled down, kind of calm, melancholic song. It features guitars and mellotrons, pianos, and some percussion stuff. So it's very, instrumentally, there isn't that many elements, but I think it's a rather beautiful song, and there's a story behind that song too, and I will make a separate video talking about the history and the background and what the song is actually about. So that's going to be coming out very soon, and I also have many other songs in the works. There's another very exciting song coming out probably after that one, which is a lot more what you're used to from Zini, so like just saz and oud and all these weird kind of electronic stuff mixed together into a crazy package. And so that's coming out after that. But so here's the thing. I've been thinking about when I'm going to put out this song, this new single, Fine. I have a separate YouTube channel for Zini where I usually put those songs. And then, of course, I'll link to those songs on this channel and leave them in a playlist and whatever. But I'm thinking maybe that's spreading out my material too much, because Zini, after all, even though it is a collaborative effort, it is mostly me that's playing the music and writing the music. And so I've been considering whether I should put those new songs, or let's just talk about this next song, Fine, right? Should I put that song, whether it's a music video or just the audio or something, on the Zini channel and then link it on this channel? Or should I instead focus more on putting out content here on the Filip Holm channel, just that I label it as a Zini song? Because there are pros and cons, I guess, because if I quit putting stuff on the Zini account, then the branding for Zini kind of takes a hit, if you get what I mean. Whereas the pros would be that I focus my musical output on this channel, and there's already a group of subscribers here and an audience, obviously, which I appreciate a lot. And so maybe it's better that I put all those songs also on this channel, but under the different name. So I thought I'd ask you guys, what you think would be the best option. Do you think I should put that new song on that channel, or do you think it's better that I put it on this one? Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll sort of consider what the best option is. Regardless, the song's going to come out on Spotify, on Apple Music and all these other streaming platforms, but just in terms of YouTube, right? Where should that song go? I've been considering that a lot. So basically, Zini is one of my main musical projects. It has a long history. It's been around for 10 years now, actually. Pretty much exactly 10 years, which is, I didn't think about that when I started making this video. That's a pretty good reason to make this video. We're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the Zini project. Started as a way to experiment and to bring together different musical genres and musical cultures and different musicians, definitely. And that is still the intent, even though a lot of it revolves around me in a weird way, but nonetheless, it's not a band, it's not a solo project, it's this weird thing in between, but it's a very exciting project. It's a lot of fun music that we're making. And now after this sort of hiatus, this little break because of the pandemic and so on, we are actually releasing some new stuff now over the coming months. There's going to be singles coming out instead of an album or an EP. We're just going to begin by putting out some songs that I've been writing over the years. Some of these songs are old. So I think one of them is from 2016. I think I wrote one of them. And so we're just going to put out all these songs that I've been waiting to come out for a long time. Over these coming months. It's some stuff that I'm really proud of. I've been working with some amazing musicians from all around the world. So it's really still in the spirit, the original spirit of Zini in that way. And yeah, it's a privilege to be able to collaborate with such amazing people. So look forward to some new Zini material coming out very soon. If you haven't subscribed to the Zini channel, you can go do that, but we'll see how what we do with that, if we're going to start putting that material on this channel too or not, we'll see. But nonetheless, the channel is there if you want to go subscribe to it. You can check out Zini on Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. And yeah, very excited to release new music, both as Zini and new music with, under my own name, of course. So the thing has been that, Zini is basically the song-oriented music, even though the songs sometimes have weird structures and so on. It's the more ambitious kind of songs go there. That sounds weird. The more ambitious kind of pop music-oriented stuff is there, even though it is, it's not going to end up on the radio, let's put it that way. But the Filip Holm stuff is more ambient, or has been at least more ambient kind of atmospheric instrumental music or oud music and things like that. And so that's the division of the two projects in some way. If you want more songs, traditional songs, then go check out the Zini stuff. If you prefer the more ambient instrumental stuff, then the Filip Holm name is where that music goes under. Anyway, thank you all for listening. I wanted to share some information about this project that's been a huge part of my musical journey for the last 10 years. And especially now that we're sort of gearing up to put out some new stuff, it's good for me also to start talking about it again, just to get into that headspace of talking about and absorbing myself in that project. So anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you are looking forward to new songs. I certainly am. August 5th is the first single, Fine, coming out. And then other singles will be coming out the coming months. So I'll be keeping you posted both here and on other social media platforms and so on. I will be making more videos on here, of course. I'm going to be making some new exciting videos about new instruments, one of which you can see behind me. I'm gonna let you guess which one it is. And then also more covers, more original music, more historical videos about musicians and things like that. I'm very excited to keep growing this channel alongside the Let's Talk Religion channel. I'm so glad that so many of you are along for the ride. So thank you all so much, and I will see you next time.